Now that I know the woman child made it to her destination, and I told my dad, leave me alone for the next hour and a half. Yeah, you giggle. Okay. Okay, let's turn this down. There we go. There we go. Oh, wait, I need a phone, y'all. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's see. I am Angela Bishop Ross, coming to you from the great state of California, well, the great state of Northern California, because LA, Southern California is a whole different situation. Let's see. I am a wife, a mom, survivor. I am a coach and life strategist. I focus on teaching Black women. Well, I focus on Black women and their challenges around being a new solopreneur, entrepreneur. And when I say new, I mean like 0 to 3 years old. Okay. And I teach them about the mechanics of running a small business and how to manage both business finances and personal finances as a business owner. And so that's one area. I help them tackle their personal challenges or mindset around being a solopreneur. But most importantly, I teach women how to recognize, trust, and then follow their gut instincts, their God-given gut instincts, because that's important. I own and am managing partner of my family's 38-year-old small business services consulting firm, where we have a tax practice, a nonprofit practice, and then a general business consulting piece. And I run it with my character of an 80-year-old father. So the best way to describe him is he is equal parts Dr. Huxtable, George Jefferson, and Bernie Mac, depending on if the sun is out and if the moon is out. I mean, it just depends, and you never know what you're going to get. So he is a character, and he keeps me on my toes because he is still sharp as a tack and is probably busier than the average 40-year-old. So he keeps me running. Now, within that practice, I've been doing it. Let's see, I've been a fully employed, fully self-employed small business owner for about 15 years now. I've been consulting for a long time. And in my previous life, I was the only Black woman for a while in tech in the late 90s. As an HR, organizational development, strategic planning guru. And the industries I've worked in was corporate consulting, fashion, and tech. Let's see, I've worked at Google, Adobe, Netscape, Netflix. I don't know if some of you remember Netscape, which was they're still sort of around. Google has absorbed them, but they were a search engine. Early days. Back then it was Yahoo and Netscape before Google took over. But I worked at Netflix and Symantec and a few other, startups. But my key roles, I played a major role in getting Netflix off the ground. And there's actually a TV show about that. And some of my old colleagues let me know that there's a recurring role on the TV show that it's actually me, but it's played by a white chick, of course. Let's see, I was at Google from year 2. They hadn't quite turned 2 years old yet, all the way up to year 6. I got tired of the BS, so I joined the family firm. I got sick not long after I took over the family business. I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of systemic and central nervous system lupus, along with having 2 different types of cancer. I have a leukemia and I have a lymphoma. I also have Parkinson's, along with a few other things. And went to my brain. I stroked out, lost my memory, didn't know who I was or where I was, that I was married and had a baby. I am also partially paralyzed as well. But, I'm a busybody and I keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. And here, most importantly, it hasn't stopped her at all.
Nope, not at all. I bring it up though, because it has played a major role in helping me, do what I do. It truly informs what I do and how I do it. And it also solidified my reasons for why I focus on Black women, because a big part of why I got sick in the first place, I'm very clear about it, is that doing too much, not listening to my gut, because I knew I was sick. I knew something was wrong, but I'm busy. I'm a problem solver. So, and I tend to focus on others and fixing their problems more so than internally and what was going on with me. And so, and just not taking care of myself, and all that means. I'm happy to see now that self-care and soul care has become a thing. Mental health has become a thing. I'm so happy to see that. And I'm glad that the timing hits right as there is an explosion of Black female entrepreneurs. So yes, there's the grind, but also there is a spotlight on taking care of yourself as you grind. So I'm very, very pleased about that. So let's see. Do you want me to jump right into my presentation, or
just
do you want me to?
I need one thing from you and Kathy real quick, and then I'll let you jump into your presentation.
Okay.
So what are you focused on this week? What would you like to get accomplished this week?
Really just get back on track. The last 2 weeks I've gotten off track because I traveled. Mm-hmm. And let's see, traveled. And then I had a workshop that was Saturday that took up a lot of time, energy, and focus. And then also wanting to partially press pause so I could do what I could to get my admin up and running. So I'm off track. So the biggest thing is to get back on track and actually execute, because I haven't really been doing that. At least I feel like, I get stuff done. So it's not like I'm not getting things done. I'm clear about that. But whenever I've got whenever I have a lot going on, mm-hmm. I tend to chip away at the little things just to feel satisfied and to feel like I'm getting something done. And meanwhile, the big stuff, the big rock is sitting there, talking about, sis, you don't see me over here? So I got to get to that rock. I got to get to some big rocks.
So it's okay, but everyone knows we don't say get back on track. So what does that mean exactly?
Getting back on track?
Yeah, what does it mean for you? Because it's different for everyone.
Okay, right. Right, yeah, let's be specific. Yeah, that's getting back on track for me looks like, it means getting back to my big rocks, getting back to focusing on and executing the tasks that will allow me to get, to dissolve those big rocks, to implement. That's what it means. So what does it look?
What are the tasks that you're going to commit to for this week?
Oh, okay. So tasks that I'm going to commit to for this week. Fully taking care of my admin. I've got there's some few loose ends that I've really got to focus on with her. So I have scheduled a work session with her for tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. And I've got to finish the task list for her. The other thing is I've got some specific tasks around launching one of my programs. So I've got to follow up on my videos. There's one video I do have to re-record because apparently the file that I sent, one of the files I sent to her was corrupted. So I've actually got to re-record. My husband, who is an engineer, tech, computer, software, hardware dude who knows about all this stuff, he took a look at it for me and he was like, yeah, it's corrupted. You got to start over. So I've got to do that.
Are you doing that this week though?
Yes, actually, I think Marie scheduled me for Friday for catch up.
Okay.
Yeah, Friday. Yep. So my plan is to do this, to do some recording, and I've got to do some content scheduling on Friday. So that's the other piece, catching up on my content planning. So I'm good through mid-September, but and I'm trying to keep a buffer. I'm trying to keep at least 2 to 3 weeks buffer, instead of not waiting until, oh shoot, it's next week. I gotta. So really this week, part of next week I'll be hitting my 3-week buffer. So I've got to do some planning.
So mid-September through the end of September?
Well, right now I'm good through mid-September. So
right.
What I want to do is I really want to get about halfway into Q4.
In a week?
In terms of, well, not scheduling, but planning.
Okay.
So planning. And my goal is to start scheduling in a week and a half.
That's fine. So as far as the focus for this week, I have you at re-recording the video, following up with your video editor for the other 2 videos, create a task list for your admin and finish training her, and then planning halfway through Q4. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't come here.
All right. So welcome, Kathy. Do you want to give us a little bit about your business and introduce yourself? I'm not a room for you guys.
Hello. I'm Kathy, and I'm actually located in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where it's nice here right now. In this, it does get cold in the winter, but right now we're enjoying a beautiful summer. And I'm happy to be here with you ladies. I mean, this is really inspiring for me. I have a couple of businesses on the in my mind, but right now here today, what I'm focusing on is my braid wig hair business. So I'm really trying to get back on track. I started this business back in 2018. I have a website that I've never launched, so I've been just procrastinating, and I'm looking forward to being in this group, just to learn a little bit more about marketing. I need to definitely work on my brand building and finding my niche, seeing who my customer really is, and then putting together some advertising to focus on that person. So
beautiful.
Is that one of your products you have on now?
It is. Yep.
Oh, I like that.
So you don't have to sit for 8 hours anymore, ladies. We got a solution.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I need that.
Yeah, especially I like your program too. I'm a gym person, so let me know when you get that launched. Definitely. I mean, yes.
Yeah, Rhonda, can we launch?
Not yet. Not yet. Well, actually, it's launched, but not yet. Not yet. Just give me by the end of this week.
Right. But I'd be interested in hearing more about that. Yes, this is one of the products I sell.
Beautiful. All right, is there anything, so we usually start with a win. Is there anything you want to highlight from the previous week? Wins are let me just back up for a second. Wins are really important because as entrepreneurs, good things are always happening, but we can kind of be negative Nancy's and say nothing is going well, and then be like, I got 2 clients. So it's important that we always start with the win. So is there anything from last week that you want to highlight?
I'd say a win is I'm looking to transition my current website to another hosting website. So I've been able to get that transitioned over to the other website.
Mhm.
I also connected with Chrissy, who is very inspiring to me because what I hear is a common thing is we're all really busy and there's a lot of, it's easy to put our business on the back burner. I just need someone to push me and help me set goals. It's always been a drawback for me is setting goals. So I put in my mind that my goal is to at least try and sell one wig a week.
Mhm.
That's a goal. I haven't I haven't done it yet, but last week my win was just connect with Chrissy and then to join this group.
Okay. Okay, so then we head into your focus for this week, and one of the focuses I would set for you, this is one of the times where I'm going to set something for you, is your one wig a week goal. Make that smart. So how? How are you actually going to do that? And if that's a question mark, you have no idea, then schedule your first session. Anyone who's new, you get a free first session with me. It's just a one-on-one. It's not office hours or anything. If you don't have the link, Lexi will send it to you. Okay.
Okay.
If you have no idea, just set up a call and then we'll talk about it.
I have an idea. I mean, social media, but of course that's still going to take some planning. So I'll take the one-on-one. Yes, definitely.
Yes. And then we'll talk about more like the calls and all that kind of stuff and what to expect and all that.
Okay.
All right, beautiful. So Angela, sorry to cut into your time, even though you cut into your own time. But if you want to, I know did you change your topic? I heard.
No, didn't change it. Lexi and I were talking. I had sent her a list, and I think she must have grabbed. Remember when I did that live for you a few weeks ago on business credit?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if that somehow, I don't know what happened, but I know we had already discussed it.
Mm-hmm.
I had sent her a list and I think she was like, oh, that, this sounds good. Second guessing yourself sounds good. So yeah.
All right, let's hear it. What you got to
let me get all my monitors. Hold on.
By the way, guys, I'm realizing some of my MVP folks who've been with me since like day one, they know the formula. So this they don't need it. They don't need like the notes, but I'm creating a slide that we can show to not slow us down. Okay. So if you were in this call, like for example, Wendy was like, I don't know what we're doing right now. I'm going to just create it where you have a visual so you know what's to be expected so you can prepare. But either way, make sure that you guys are keeping track of your stuff outside of these calls. We have the notes too. But just make sure you're keeping track. But all right, Angela, I'm done. I'm in mute.
All right, hold on. You know me and my cursor. I have cursor issues. I think I need a battery. That's what I think is going on here. Okay, hold on. And I think I got too much stuff open too. All right. So, you guys sort of heard my story a little bit, and I mentioned that also because, like I said, it informs a lot of what I do and how I do it, and why I do what I do. So today's topic, we're going to talk about second guessing yourself, particularly in business. We're all business owners, solo / entrepreneurs, and that requires a lot of us. Many of us are still working our 9 to 5 while trying to launch, at the very least one business. Who was that said they had multiple businesses? Was that Kathy? It was Kathy? Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. And many of us have not been small business owners before. Many of us, we've never done this before. So, it's hard to know that we're doing it right. And it's hard to feel certain that we're doing it right. So consequently, we second guess ourselves. And let's be clear. Let's be honest. I'm big on calling a thing, as Chrissy already knows. And we as women, particularly Black women, we already second guess ourselves, right? We already, and in a way we're conditioned to do that. So it's hard to break essentially what has become our nature in a way, right? And that is, because of our conditioning. So hold on, let me get my thing here. So let me ask you guys, show of hands, you can use the reactions tab. How many of you second guess the decisions you make in your business? Let's see, I'm looking that way because you guys are that way. Okay, so Kathy, myself, Chrissy, Audrey. Let's see, we keep going. Yeah, so I mean, it's safe to say that many of us do, right? How many of you second guess yourself in general, just in life? Do you second guess the decisions you make about your finances? Do you second guess the decisions you make about your relationships, either sisterships or loveships, or even work relationships? Show of hands, how many second guess, just in general, you're uncertain about the decisions that you're making? Yep, okay. Yeah, like I said, it's human nature for us to second guess ourselves. Can anybody give me or us an example of the things you second guess about yourself in your life or in your business? What are some things that you have second guessed yourself about? That didn't sound right, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So can anybody give me an example? Or anybody want to share?
Well, for me, can you hear me? Just make sure.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I've second guessed myself in regards to whether or not I had enough experience to do what God has called me to do. So that has been one of the things that I struggle with a lot in the very beginning. It's just feeling like, who am I to think I'm supposed to be out here coaching people? What experience do I have doing that? So, yeah, definitely feeling inexperienced for what I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can definitely relate to that. I've been doing this for a minute, longer than a minute. I've been coaching since before it became a thing. Got my first certification in 99, 2000. And I still feel that way. I still wonder. So it never, I can't say that it ever goes away, but what I can say is there are ways to manage that. There really are. 55% of women second guess their decisions to even start a business. And like you, Chris, wonder if they even have what it takes. Do they have the experience? Do they have, just the skill and the mindset and the heart to even start a business, let alone run it? 39% of women don't even think they're capable of running their own business. Now, this information comes from an article from early 2000 on the, my father's a bit of a numbers and economics geek. So he has a lifetime subscription to the Journal of Behavioral and Experimental Economics. And there was an article in that journal in early 2000 that listed some interesting stats about women and starting and their businesses as entrepreneurs, particularly women business owners or women entrepreneurs within the first 5 years of their business. I mistakenly deleted the stat that I had about how many, and this is an important stat, how many women business owners who shutter their business, close their business, not so much because of the numbers, but because of them second guessing themselves and not fully trusting that the decisions they were making around their business and the decisions that they were making in their lives connected to their business weren't good ones. And that essentially is them trusting, it's about trusting yourself. Now, in the beginning, like I said, I didn't trust myself either. when I first started, it took me a while to stop second guessing every decision I make. And I still second guess. I mean, let's be real. Second guessing isn't always a bad thing. And I'll talk about that later. But I wanted to consult everybody. I wanted to consult my girlfriends. I want to talk about it in my Facebook groups. You know, I generally was looking for positive reinforcement from my tribe about the decisions that I wanted to make and whether or not they were good ones. And after all, I mean, you know, I made a lot of, you know, calls and texts to my girlfriends. Girl, you know, I'm thinking about doing this. Or, so sis, how do you think such and such sounds? And really, it occurred to me that I was looking for approval externally when really I needed to be the one to make the final call. And I began to really think about that and process that. And this was years ago. And developing that awareness, what it really was about, sort of helped me get over that hump for myself, and also help me help my clients. Help me help. I don't know why I got that Kevin Hart skit in my head. Help me. I don't know why. Just help me, sister. So anyway, I digress.
It's so appropriate though. It's so appropriate. Like if we need a logo with him, like, yes.
You know, a meme, you know, not just the meme where he's got the microphone doing this, right? But we need a meme, you know, help me.
It's a whole mood though. It's a whole mood.
It is the whole mood. It really is, which is likely why, you know, as I was thinking about things that I was going to say, it came to my mind, and why I can't seem to get it out of my head, because it really is a whole mood. You know, we always, particularly as women, particularly as Black women, are looking outside of ourselves for validation and confirmation. And even to an extent, conviction. Okay. I mean, you know, I like to call a thing, but we as Black women, we do that. And that hinders our ability to really hear our God-given voice, that instinct, that, you know, your gut, really. Oh, my husband's calling. So, you know, that God-given instinct. And we turn it off, even when it's screaming at us, you know, girl, sis. And we're like, la, 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 la. So, boyfriend, husband, sister, what you think about such and such? Meanwhile, it's screaming at you, right? So anyway, I digress. Well, not really, because it's all connected. Let's see here. My little notes here. Let me make sure I'm on track, because I tend to go off track. So like I said, you know, I was looking for validation, but ultimately it is about me needing to trust me for what's right about my business and my life as it's connected to my business, right? Now, also something I've discovered over the years is that second guessing looks, how do I say that? Second guessing looks differently, or looks different depending on the situation, you know, who you are as a person, you know, beating yourself up for making decisions too slowly. I do that sometimes. You know, I have worked on making sure every possible T there is crossed and every possible I there is dotted. There will always be a T, there will always be an I, to cross and to dot. Sometimes you just have to poop and get off the pot, as I say. We often wonder if there's a better option. We tend to replay our missteps or our mistakes. We worry about what other folks think and might say. That can be a real thing. Ultimately, I call second guessing a form of negative self-talk, to be honest with you. And I think, how do I say that? we can dress it up however we want to dress it up, but ultimately it's a form of negative self-talk. Because you're second guessing, you can talk yourself out of things. And again, I have been a victim of my own second guessing and negative self-talk. Even still, I struggle with neurological issues. I don't always say the right word. I struggle with word find. I have something called aphasia, and I am always struggling with whether or not I'm saying the right thing, and if it's coming across properly, and is the point that I'm trying to make correct and within the right context. So I still, even though I have the awareness and I have the tools and the strategies, and I know I am all that in a bag of Lay's potato chips, I still have my moments. Okay. Now, I won't get into the whys too deeply, because there's all sorts of reasons why we second guess ourselves. The way we were raised, the generations of conditioning, as women, as Black women, feeling like, and this is me and my Capricorn tendencies, wanting to have a context and a parameter and a gauge for the right way versus the wrong way. Excuse me. But ultimately, the bottom line is we're not trusting ourselves. I mean, let's be real. Now, trusting is a gateway emotion. Now, you may have heard the term gateway drugs, and gateway essentially means it leads to something else. Okay. Now, trusting is a gateway emotion, in that the more you trust yourself, the more it leads to more confidence. Confidence leads to conviction. Conviction leads to greatness. When you have a conviction, right? Like, for example, I am very clear that God has called me, like Sister Chris said, God has called me to do the work that I do. Now, I've been running from it, he'll catch up with me from time to time. A big part of, I think, me getting sick was him getting our attention, or getting my attention. And at one point I was hooked up to a ventilator, and in and out, and God clearly spoke to me and was like, child, tired of playing with you. I'm gonna need you to go on and get with the program. So, excuse me. So the conviction is important, and trusting is a muscle that you have to work. You have to work. Like we're all, well, not all of us, some of us are focusing on getting in shape and getting healthy. And as you work out, I'm sure you understand the concept, particularly, is it Rhonda who's doing the workout program?
Yeah,
so
that's me.
All right, Miss Workout Queen. So you understand that you have to work a muscle, right? And I'm sure you probably understand the concept around muscle memory, right? So many of us, well, how about this, Miss Rhonda? How about you, let's take a brief moment and you talk about what it takes to build a muscle.
Exercise and dieting.
Exercise and dieting.
Not dieting, nutritional eating, not dieting.
I like that. Very good. Exactly. Now, exercising. Now, do you understand the mechanics of how muscle is, gets built or created? Yes, exercising, but what's the key component to exercise that allows you to build the muscle?
First, realizing in your mind what you need to do.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And realizing how exercise affects your brain.
Yes.
Helps your thinking. How it helps you,
yep.
Clarity on your thinking,
yep.
and helps you to not to get rid of some of those diseases that we get that are caused by lack of exercise and bad food. Right.
One of the keys also to Miss Rhonda is repetition.
Oh yeah. Consistency.
That's the word I'm looking for. Consistency. Exactly. You can't, decide you're going to run a marathon and, run around the block once and then go sign up for the Boston Marathon, right? Not going to happen. You cannot decide that you're going to learn how to drive a car. I'll use this example because the woman child is driving, and she would get frustrated because she felt like, and still sort of feels, that there are certain things because she understands the basics of driving that she should just know. She wants to drive like me. And her dad, well, no, I don't count her dad because her dad is from Atlanta, Decatur, Georgia, and he drives like Miss Daisy. So no, like me, I'm a good driver. I'm a car chick. I love driving. Driving just does something to me. I love it. And I'm a good driver. And she wants to drive like me or like any other person that's been driving for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And I've had to explain to her, I'm able to do what I do because I've been doing it for a minute. I'm able to steer the car with my knee while I'm pouring my coffee and, opening up my breakfast sandwich and opening up my Belvita like that because I've been doing it for a minute.
No.
Mind you, I am partially paralyzed and drive with my left foot. But that's how good I am. Just saying.
You probably drive better than most people who drive with the right foot.
Girl, you better come on now. You better speak on that. I do. But anyway, I digress. My point is muscle memory, right? There is such a thing as muscle memory. And your brain is a muscle. I'll give you another example. Well, let me back up before I give you that example. So, we can build muscle in every area of our body where muscle exists, but also in our lives. Confidence may not be a literal physical muscle, but it is a mental and emotional muscle that you've got to work. And your body, your soul, your spirit will find a way to build that muscle. It will. And an example is me again. I had to learn how to walk and talk actually all over again. After I had several strokes, I still have seizures. Occasionally, I haven't had a big seizure in a while, but my seizures are like strokes. So my left side gets funky, I get a little gimpy, and I talk funny. Now, I have several diseases happening in my brain. And what has happened is my brain has figured, where am I okay, there we go. So where there's a roadblock, my brain, because I exercise the various muscles of the brain, confidence, memory, reading, writing, vocabulary, all of that, because I'm actively engaging them, my brain starts to look for other ways around that block and develop a whole new way. And that will happen the more you engage and practice. Okay, so there's that. Let's see. Now, I digress. So work that muscle. Now, what I've seen time and time again is with my business clients, all my clients really, but in particularly my small business clients, the ones that are able to make, how do I say that? The ones that are able to make decisions decisively with whatever the information that they have, they recognize that they've done the best that they could in that moment. They've gathered as much information as they could in the moment. They've weighed the pros and cons in the moment. They pull the trigger and they roll with it. They have ultimately learned how to listen to and trust their gut and roll with it. And those are the people that my experience with my group over the last 15, 20 years, really, those are the ones that are successful, the ones that are able to do what they can in the moment and trust that, have faith that the decision that they've made is the best one in the moment. And if it wasn't, that's the key. And if it wasn't, then they regroup, figure out, what could have been done differently, and they learn from it. They actively learn from it. I've got a group of female clients that we actually have a little group where it's all about our mistakes and our missteps and our miscalculations. It's nothing, not in a negative way, but we spend our time figuring out what the lesson was in those missteps and mistakes. And since I've been doing that, we took a break because of COVID, and the last time we met was, we had an emergency session, a couple of emergency sessions. But when I was doing that consistently, when we all were doing it consistently, my business flourished. And honestly, it spilled over into my life. I've always been fairly decisive in life. And I found that where I would get indecisive was in business, because it seemed to affect so many other things. I have a staff, my dad, I just spoke him up. He's calling me right now. My dad, our clients, in my mind, my decisions, or not making decisions affect so many people. So I placed a heavier weight on them. So it took me longer to make them. I would find T's to cross and I's to dot that had nothing to do. They are in a whole nother alphabet over there somewhere, but I'm looking for reasons for I's to dot and T's to cross, when really I had all the information I had. I just needed to trust. And when it didn't work out, being humble, client, I'm sorry. You know what? We messed up, and just own it. And I actually am pretty good at that. I had to learn how to get good at that. So ultimately, how do you trust yourself? Because trusting yourself is how you get out of the game of second guessing. How am I on time, Christy? Chrissy?
We are 15 minutes over.
Whoa, 15 minutes?
Yeah, we're at 7:45. But we usually wrap up a little bit early, so people are definitely hanging around. I would definitely just kind of give the highlight. Yep.
I'm essentially at the end. Yeah. So it occurred to me. So how do you trust yourself? Recognize when your gut is speaking. It's a feeling. And we've got to get more in tune with ourselves so that we can recognize that voice, right? And a big part of recognizing that voice, recognizing that feeling consistently, is by getting in tune with yourself. Like I said before, trust is a gateway emotion, and it's a muscle, and you have to work on it to strengthen it. Let's see. Recognize your own version of negative self-talk, because essentially that's what second guessing is, and not trusting yourself is. Create scripts for yourself if you have to, and have them ready to go. I have named my negative self-talk. She has a name, and it's not a nice name. I'm not much of a cursor, but she got a name, and I call her out. That every time that negative voice is talking, I call her out. Let's see. And be your own hype chick. Make a list of your accomplishments, big and small, because they all matter, and put that bad boy on repeat and play it over and over and over again. And then get a solid group of like-minded women, like Boss Bitch, and seriously, and lean on them. Let me see if there's anything else. That's about it. Other stuff I've said. Put a time limit on how long you're gonna chew on something.
Yes.
I got, yeah. Put a time limit on how long you're going to chew on it, and commit to yourself that once that time hits, you pull the trigger and stick to your guns. Okay, so that's essentially it.
I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna open it up for questions for about 5 minutes because I do have a hard stop. But does anyone have any questions? I know this is something each and every single one of you struggle with personally. I know because I've talked to each of you individually.
Thank you for the information. It's helpful to me.
I'm glad. It's a broad and deep subject. And so it's so, it's, hard to sort of put it, to do this with it,
To make it really kind of concrete.
Yeah.
The best advice that I always give, and I probably said to each of you, is just to do it anyway. You don't know the right thing to do, and just kind of resting assured that like no one's going to die if you don't do it the wrong way. Or if you do it the wrong way, if you make a mistake, it's not that big of a deal. None of us are heart surgeons, right? And even they make mistakes, okay? They be leaving tools and people and all kinds of things. So, I mean, just rest assured you will make mistakes. You will not know the right answers. Do what you can, like time box it. Like she said, I got the timers.
I got that too.
Time box it and just say this is what I have to do and hit send or whatever you got to do. Just send it, launch it, whatever the thing is, whatever the verb. Kristen, did you have any questions? I saw you unmute.
Yeah, I just had a takeaway, something you said that, Angela, that was really, really good, was that trust is a muscle that you have to work. And that's something I don't think I've ever really heard anybody say, but I like the way you broke that down and explained that, because we do have to work at trusting ourselves. We put trust in everyone else and everything else except for us. And we're really the only person that we can control. But we oftentimes put our trust in things that we don't have any control over. So I think that is super powerful. And I think that putting that at the forefront of our minds as women, as entrepreneurs, that you have to trust you first.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what anyone else says or thinks. You have to trust what you know, what you do, what's in your hands, more than other people's opinions. So
yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I'm a big proponent of, as I said before, calling a thing and defining it for yourself, whatever that is. Defining what trust is for yourself. What does it look like, feel like, taste like, smell like? Define it for yourself, and also understand that it's fluid, so yeah.
Yeah, I would even identify the ways you don't trust yourself. On a micro scale, because one of the things that I did in my own work is with the trust piece. When I first started business, I would ask my mom, mind you, my mom doesn't own a business or anything. I would ask her stuff about like, what do you think about this Instagram post? She'd be like, oh, it looks good. Like she would nitpick the silliest things to the point where it would frustrate me. And I'd be like, I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm just going to hit send and be done with it. But one of the things that I've done to work that trust muscle is like little things. Like I'm the type of person who will call someone like, what should I eat for dinner tonight? Instead, now I just make the decision on a small scale. I'm learning to trust myself and just be like, let me Google, let me look at the options and make a quick decision.
Exactly.
Because those are micro ways. Like I'm a firm believer in how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you don't trust yourself in business, it's showing up in other places of your life, period.
That's why I made the connection in business. Where are you second guessing yourself in business, and where are you second guessing yourself? And because you're likely doing it in your life. You are your business. Mm-hmm. Whether it's your business or even if you have a 9-to-5, right? A day job, you show up in that. And however you are is how your business is. Trust me. It is how you are as an employee. Trust me. I've seen it. I've been doing this for a minute and I've seen it time and time again. And you attract that. Like I look at my dad. My dad is, his nickname, he's got two. LL Cool J, his name is John. Ladies love Cool John. Ladies love him. I don't know what it is, but they love him. The other thing is his other nickname in the office is Captain Save a Client. Captain Save a Client. He got to be we got a cape. We even got a cape for him, you know, because he needs to be the one to fix things. So he tends to attract
Broken
clients.
stuff.
Yeah, broken stuff. There you go. I was going to say clients who are broken, but absolutely. And you know, now that works for him, but that won't work for me. You know, so be mindful of that. Be aware of that. And I love what Chrissy said, you know, which is one of the things that I left out actually, as I was trying to wrap up, is start small. You know, I have clients identify the negative first because for whatever reason, it's human nature. We're drawn to the negative, and it's easier to make a list of all the negative. So a list of where you're not trusting. Right. So, and then go from there and then create the opposite. So anything else, Miss Chrissy?
Kathy, I saw you on mute. Did you want to add?
I just wanted to add that I found that was my holdup. I was so busy trying to make everything perfect that I'm just spinning. I'm not even getting started. And so I like how you said it's okay to just do it, you know, just do it. And it's okay to make a mistake, because a lot of times that's how we learn best, is from our mistakes, right? So
sometimes we'll learn faster from our mistakes than sitting there Googling it or studying it.
Right.
You know? And remember, at any given moment of any given day, you get a do-over.
Mm-hmm.
You get a do-over.
The very next moment after you mess up, you get a do-over.
Yeah, exactly. And
Like,
how many moments are there? Yeah, and how many moments are there in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year?
Unlimited do-overs.
Exactly.
Like, oop, I mean to say that. Let me unsay that. Thank God for Google Unsend on them emails. Huh?
Oh my gosh. If you don't turn those on.
Woo, Lord Jesus.
I use it like 5 times today.
Lord Jesus. Matter of fact, I've extended the time, you know, so I've got the maximum amount of time that it lets me undo, because I'd be like, oh, snap. Yeah, so.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, go to Google or Gmail to your settings and turn that on.
Okay, I'm gonna do that right now.
Yes, you can
Turn that
basically
on. So
unsend
you like a
it when it
30-second
like,
countdown.
yeah, it pop up like wait.
I was in my feelings. No.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, yes. I love it. That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you, ladies, for hanging out with us a little over the time. I appreciate each and every one.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we will see you next week.